Welcome to Stripped Simple. I'm your host, Olivia. Let's talk about self-care and simple beauty. What you put on your skin is really important. I'm going to give you some ingredients, and what you do with them is up to you to decide. Mix and match as you desire. You are your own alchemist. Simple care, simple ingredients, simple beauty. Strip Simple Jojoba. And when I say jojoba, it's not spelled H-O-H-O-B-A. It is spelled J-O-J-O-B-A. So even though it has an H sound, it is actually spelled with a J. Jojoba is a desert plant. It is a shrub with thick, green oval to spade-shaped leaves. Like most desert leaves or plants, like aloe vera, for example, it is thicker leaves because they're storing water and they are kind of waxy. It is found in the Sonoran Desert in northwestern Mexico, Arizona, California, and Israel, so desert climates. And this plant is a powerhouse. The oil that comes from this plant is a powerhouse. Jojoba is one of the best oils that you can use for your skin. And it's one of those oils that is really great to use because it is extremely stable, which means that it doesn't really go bad. You can use it at a higher temperature, like I was mentioning in a previous episode. There are different heating levels that you can bring oil to before they start to degrade, and part of the reason jojoba is so stable is because it has a higher heating point as well. So it has like stable chain to make it, but it also has a higher heating point, which means that it won't degrade as quickly. And there are different types of oils that have different absorption rates, that have different consistencies. So like, for example, if you wanted a heavier oil, you could use tamanu, or you can use an olive oil or a hemp oil. But olive oil is at like a medium heat before it starts to degrade. Hemp oil has a very low point before it starts to degrade. So does evening primrose and rosehip, even though they're very good for skin, very healing, especially for skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, things like that. They have a very low heating point before you can no longer use them. So if you're infusing an oil, or if you're heating up something to make a balm, using jojoba is a great idea. Another way you can work around that is to heat up the oils that are able to be heated. Coconut oil can take high heat. Soaking cocoa butter. So if you're making a body balm, for example, or a body butter, you could put those in, have it melt down, and once it cooled down a little bit, you could add your other oils that are a little less heat stable, like vitamin E or your rosehip or your evening primrose. You would add those after. The same thing with the actual essential oils. If you are adding a fragrance, those would be added toward the end when the oil is cooler, so that you don't burn off the scent of the oil. So jojoba boosts the skin's immunity because it is antibacterial, it is wound healing, and it has a lot of antioxidants. It also balances the skin's pH, which is fantastic for skin. It is good for softening and soothing the skin while it's healing wounds, and it is compatible with all skin types. So there are people that have dry skin, that have combination skin, that have oily skin. No matter what your skin type, if you have mature skin, if you're a baby, because there are definitely some oils that cannot be used on babies, both essential oils and, well, not really regular oils, but there are definitely essential oils depending on your child's age that are better for use or should be best avoided until they're a little bit older. Jojoba is not one of these oils. It's good for people of all ages, and it is a great carrier oil for other essential oils. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're choosing what you want to make. It can be a little bit pricier, but depending on where you go, there are bulk places like New Directions Aromatics that you can get bulk. You can get bulk oil or bulk essential oils, bulk Epsom salts, beeswax, body butters, just any kind of material if you're going to be making skincare things, if you want them at a cheaper price for more. And if you were to get it there instead of commercially, that does make things a lot more affordable. So emotionally, jojoba does not really have much emotional benefits, but it adds so much to everything else, and it can be used in nearly everything else that it automatically improves the quality. So it just becomes an add-on to what is already existing there. So if you're using it as a carrier oil, you're still getting more quality from it, giving you the healing effects, and you're also getting the effects of that aromatherapy for what you're carrying in the jojoba. So it can be put in nearly anything, and it is a very flexible oil. An interesting thing is that it is not technically actually an oil, it is actually a wax. But because of its liquid consistency, most people refer to it as jojoba oil anyway. When was jojoba oil discovered? There are records online in the 18th century that say that the Oldham indigenous people, apologies if I've mispronounced that, were using jojoba oil in the 18th century, and it became more widely used in the 1930s, 1940s. So why was it being used, or how was it being used by the Oldham indigenous people? They used it to treat their injuries and also to protect their skin and their hair. It was used to make hot drinks. It was eaten when, people were hunting and there was a shortage of food. It was used as a laxative to help in childbirth by just eating it and letting it go through you. It also later became used as a replacement for whale oil in cosmetics when whales started becoming overhunted. And it took off. It was actually working really well, so it just kind of flourished in the cosmetic industry. And it was also used as fuel and as a kind of gun lubricant and maintenance oil for machinery. So jojoba has had a lot of use throughout the ages, and it is definitely an oil I would recommend. As I said, it is a little bit more on the pricey side, but you can kind of mitigate that because it is so shelf stable that it will last you for years, sometimes like 5 years. And so if you buy it and it's slightly more expensive, you have a longer amount of time to use it. So tune in next time for more stripped simple ingredients, and remember, you are your own alchemist.